All right, let's get right into this one because we don't have much time. We have a basketball game to catch because Gonzaga is finally playing on Monday for the first time in a while for WCC. So let's just get right into it. I'm Chris. This is Rick. Please follow us on Twitter. Please subscribe to this channel. We will be doing a giveaway once we hit 50 subscribers. Please like this video. Please leave a comment down below with whatever the topic is that we're going to be talking about. But until we get to that, ranked teams for mid-major teams this week. Number 1, Gonzaga, still, but losing votes to Baylor a little bit over time. And number 22, Loyola Chicago. I think the first time they've been ranked. I know they've gotten votes. I think this is the first time they've been ranked this season. So it's definitely awesome to see them.
Taylor Swift is now related to both of these schools. One, because she was accepted as a student at Gonzaga. And two, because she's feeling 22.
Getting votes for mid-major teams. San Diego State, Belmont, Drake, Toledo, Boise State, St. Louis, VCU, BYU, and UAB. Hello. Oh, ESPN was deciding to tell me what NBA scores were. I was freaking out for a second there. So we wanted to do something a little bit different today, and also we kind of needed something quick to go as well. So Rick, do you want to introduce this title?
Yeah, so today what we are doing is we are looking at the underrated, the ignored, the misrepresented, basically the diamonds in the rough. Who should we have our eyes on?
Mm-hmm. Right. So we kind of each picked a team. My team started to get votes this week. I mean,
to be fair, I didn't know this until just now. So did mine.
I know. Like we accidentally picked these teams beforehand. We didn't know that they were getting votes until we kind of just picked them.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, they're already being discovered right now. So
big brain, big brain.
So I mean, I guess I will go first with this one. My team, and it was a team that I thought when we were doing the videos of who's going to win the conference tournament or who are going to win the conference seasons, I thought this team had a chance to steal. Mm-hmm. They weren't my first two picks, but now at this point, I think they are the favorites to win the A10 right now. VCU 13-4 on the season right now. They have wins over Memphis, Utah State, Dayton, and Rhode Island, at least the quality wins that I want to highlight from there. Losses to West Virginia, Penn State, also a loss to Rhode Island, and a loss to St. Bonaventure. Right now, their Ken Palm rating is 57th total. Adjusted offense, 124, so kind of offense, and I'll be getting to that as well in a little bit of something that they should be working on. But their adjusted defense, 15th overall. They are definitely a very hard-fought defensive team, and their stats show it too. The offensive stats, like I said, it was on Ken Palm, 124th, 73.6 points per game, 45.4% from the field, 33.9% from the three-point line, 6.8 made three-pointers per game. Again, it's just an average offense of what we're seeing. Defense, on the other hand, they're allowing 64.9 points per game this season, which is about 50th overall. Their opponents are scoring 40.2% from the field, 42nd overall. 10.5 steals per game, which is second in NCAA, second most. 5.9 blocks per game, which is fifth highest in NCAA. And they're forcing 18.3 turnovers per game, which is seventh most. So it's a hard defensive team that we're seeing so far. And there's quality games in there where you see a lot of the A10 games, which is Rhode Island, St. Bonaventure, Dayton, I think was one of them that I mentioned. And I mean, even you have West Virginia in the mix as well as Memphis from the AAC.
VCU got its came of age when it made its deep run to the Final Four championship game 2 years in a row.
I forget.
But
yeah,
it was under Shaka Smart,
yeah.
And they were famed for their havoc defense. And based off the stats you were telling me, it sounds like they still have a defense.
And additional notes that I have upon them as well is that we aren't just going to be talking about VCU this year. We're going to talk about them next year, I feel like, because there's 9 guys averaging 10 minutes. 6 of those 9 guys have played all 17 games. However, those rotation of 9 guys, 2 of them are seniors, 2 are juniors, 3 are sophomores, and 2 are freshmen. So it's a fairly younger team.
That's good roster management.
Yeah, it's all around. You're definitely picking someone up one or two people every year to come play for you for the recruiting class. And the top two guys, probably going to mispronounce these names, I'm sorry. Nashawn Highland is a sophomore, and he's their leading point getter. And Vince Williams Jr., who is a junior in academic standings for college basketball, is their second most point getter. And these are the leaders of their team. They're the ones with the most minutes. So
And
they are
both are eligible to be around next year.
Yeah. So we're gonna
Actually, next 2 years because COVID.
right. And so I think we're definitely going to be seeing VCU next year, and I'm excited to see VCU again, to be honest, because I remember them making those two runs. It was definitely something that was different. But however, what did they need to work on? What?
Or was that Butler?
And I forget. I remember
Who
VCU.
cares?
I remember VCU.
They're good.
But what do they need to work on? Obviously, offense. The offense this season so far has been pretty average. Assist to turnover ratio for sure. It is less than 1. It's right now it's 0.88. They are averaging 13.8 assists per game, which isn't bad. It's kind of decent average, but the turnovers, 15.6 turnovers per game. Granted, they're forcing 18 point something, but you really need to help out your defense a little bit more with not getting the ball turned over quite that bit. And I also want to kind of point out some of the games. So kind of going down the list of the games that I have, and it's definitely noticeable between the games that they lost versus the games that they won in the assist to turnover ratio. So the games that they lost, West Virginia, they got 11 assists and 15 turnovers. Penn State, they had 12 assists, 16 turnovers. Rhode Island, they had 9 assists and 16 turnovers. St. Bonaventure, they had 12 assists and 19 turnovers. Their wins on the season, Memphis, this is probably the one exception to this whole disparity between assists and turnover ratios for the wins-losses. Memphis is their worst of the ones and the wins. 14 assists, 18 turnovers, but they're still getting a lot of assists in that game. Then Utah State, 16 assists, 14 turnovers. Dayton, 15. And Rhode Island, 12 assists, 14 turnovers, which, yes, is still technically less than 1, but it's still more, like, it's better showing than the other ones.
And it's a 1-point game.
Right. That was the thing, too. So it's that definitely is this weakest point. And granted, their offensive stats is just okay. It's, like I said, average offensive team, so it's definitely something that I want to see going forward, especially with the rest of their schedule this year. They have to still play Dayton, Davidson, St. Bonaventure, Richmond, get a little bit of a break with get a little bit of a break with George Mason, and then go play St. Louis, Davidson, and then Dayton. So they have the hardest teams in the A10 to finish off their schedule.
So it's going to be important to watch them, because if they do well, then their stock's going to go up.
And if they sweep those games, they are for sure going to get in the top 25. I can see them up there. I can see them getting a lot of votes and getting up there. And it's definitely a team that it's going to be. You should definitely look for. Hopefully, come Selection Sunday, which is coming up in just a little bit over a month right now.
Yep,
it's going to be scary.
All right. So on my end, I wanna look east. And so I'm going to look at the Patriot League. Patriot League is doing something very, very interesting this year, where all of their teams are playing in a round robin, 2 games at home, 2 games away at every opponent, but they're not playing out of conference for the most part. And so the team with the strongest record at that point, with only 1 loss, is Colgate, which was actually my second choice for college. They are 7-1. So Colgate's lone loss came against Army by 2 points. And it was just one day after they beat Army by 44 points. And those were the first 2 games of the season.
So yeah, they're still trying to figure out their
rotations. Yeah, and so that was January 2nd and January 3rd. So it was a late start to the season. January 2nd, they come out and drop 103 points or something like that on Army. And Army puts up, I think it was like 57, 59, something like that. And then the next day, they both score in the 70s and Army wins by 2 points. So that's, otherwise, Colgate has 7 wins all in the conference, and you got to be strong to be running your conference like that. And so Colgate is averaging 86.5 points per game, which is good for 6th nationally. Impressive. They're averaging 17.1 assists per game, good for 18. That's great. And they're rebounding 40.5 shots per game, which is tied for 27th nationally. Those are some good numbers. They're also only giving up 65.1 points per game as well, which is a really big margin of victory.
20-point difference after 21 points.
So let's look at the KenPom numbers as they do a good job of adjusting those numbers for strength of schedule. And where does Colgate fall? 103rd. Yikes. So this margin of victory expected for a Colgate squad versus an average team is 7 points. That's not going to cut it. So let's look at a different Patriot team. This team has actually played opponents outside of the league, so you'd think that they have a little bit more going on there. They are 3-1 in those games, and it's the Navy Midshipmen. They are off to a great start. They are 8-1 in the Patriot League, so they're 11-2. That one loss in within conference, also against Army. Army is 5-3 in Patriot League, so I'm not going to talk about them. But Navy, the Midshipmen, are not scheduled to play Colgate at all, so you're not going to see a showdown of your top 2 teams.
Yeah.
And I feel like, again, a team has to be consistently good to be able to be dominant and run the table and have 8-to-1 ratio in conference. So let's look at some of these stats. How did they get there? Scoring, 72.2 points per game. That's below the national average at 187. How about rebounds and assists? 35.9 rebounds for 180th. And 12.8 assists for 227.
12.
So, big oof. At least they're only giving up 68.1 points per game.
Yeah, that's like a 3-point difference right there.
Yeah, so how do they compare against the national norm? Against the national norm, before we compare against the national norm, I should mention that one out of conference loss was by 30 points to Maryland. So let's take a look at Navy's KenPom. Number 165th. Yeah.
National average.
National average. Literally one place higher. 166 and 167 is the middle 2 teams. So they were expected to have a .12 margin of victory over the average team.
Okay.
So I don't think those Patriot League teams are going to be the team. So let's go look at a team, a real team I want to cheer for.
Mm-hmm.
So how about we look at the team with the most wins in NCAA men's basketball right now? That team is going to be the Belmont Bruins of the Ohio Valley Conference.
OVC.
Belmont is sitting pretty at 20-1. They are 14-0 in conference. They were a tournament team last year because I remember we had to do the thing.
And they won their conference tournament, I remember that.
But we had to do the video with the mascots.
Your favorite mascots. Yeah, I remember that.
And they got a rawr bear.
So dumb.
I
actually remember that. I hate that bear. That's such a dumb bear.
But anyway, so they were a tournament team before, and they're on track to be a tournament team this year. They have a 2-game lead in conference, but have not played second place Morehead State yet. Mm-hmm. So they have 2 games to go against Morehead. So they could split the title if Morehead wins both of those, but I don't think that's going to happen. They will this week. Saturday night is Morehead State and Belmont.
Okay. So this weekend's definitely going to be the weekend to watch.
Yep. So you're going to want to watch that. Belmont is led by do everything guard Grayson Murphy. He is averaging 10.4 points per game on 63% shooting, which is very good for a guard. And he's not their highest scoring player. Their center is their highest scoring player. But he's shooting 63%. So he's shooting very efficiently and scoring over 10 points a game. And he's also dishing out 5.2 assists per game to just 1.7 turnovers. If you want a solid point guard play, you have it.
5-to-1 turnover, assist to turnover ratio.
And then to top it all off, he's pulling in 7.5 rebounds a game. which is their leading rebound. He is their leading rebounder. So he's do everything. So what about those wins and losses? Belmont's lone loss came at home against Samford. You don't look at Samford's record right now.
Yeah.
By 13
rough.
points. During that game, Samford shot a blistering 46.7 from 3.
Oh, from 3, okay. So they were going off.
They shot 53% total.
Jeez.
They picked up 48 rebounds.
Okay.
Samford or Belmont only picked up 31. Now this was the 4th game of the year for Belmont, so they've gone on a 17-0 streak since that game.
Yeah.
The wins: they beat Howard, they beat George Mason, they beat Queens, which is a D2 or D3 team. They beat Linscomb, they beat Kennesaw State, and they beat Evansville. Those are their out-of-conference wins. Those names don't tell us a whole lot about this team, so let's look at some stats. Belmont is scoring 83.4 points per game, good for 12th. They're dishing 18.5 assists per game, and they're giving up 68.1 points per game. Like Navy, but better. And all of this, they're scooping up 34.2 rebounds, which is 265th. Not great, but we also saw from that loss that rebounding is not their strength. So how is that compared to the national norm? They are 82nd in KenPom with a projected margin of 10.28 points. So in summary, I don't know if they're a team worth voting for at KenPom 82, but they are a tournament team, and they should absolutely be watched because if they continue to win, they're only going to get better. And this right now is their prep for the NCAA tournament, where they have 1 total win out of 8 appearances. So if they can pick up their 2nd ever win in the NCAA, that'll be huge.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those disappointments from last year of having everything canceled. See Belmont get back into the tournament and seeing what they could have done last year as well. So let us know what you think down below. I know this was a very quicker video than what we normally did, but again, we have a game to catch in about 25 minutes actually right now. So please leave a comment down below. What do you guys think about Virginia Commonwealth, VCU, or with what Rick just named as Belmont? Who do you think should be getting votes at least, or even just getting ranked as well? Who are you looking forward to possibly take away bid from a bubble player, from a bubble team? These are what we're going to be looking at. So please, until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. Please like the video, leave a comment down below. Please subscribe to the video. When we hit 50 subscribers, we will be doing it. We were doing so well with this one. We will be doing a giveaway once we hit 50 subscribers. Stay safe, stay healthy.